Hey everyone, and welcome to This is Arts. Today, I'm sitting down with musician and Qanun master Ghenwa Nemnom. But before we dive into our conversation, let's take a quick look at some key cultural events that have taken place in Lebanon and around the globe over the past 2 weeks. The Daloul Art Foundation has opened its latest exhibition, Women's Agency in Arab Art, Kinship, Education, and Political Activism. Featuring around 50 artworks from the Foundation's collection, the show highlights the contribution of 30 pioneering modernist women artists. The exhibition is on view until August 14. At Salah Barakat Gallery in Beirut, the exhibition A Journey by master calligrapher and poet Samir Sayegh has launched, where the Arabic letter becomes infinite and abstraction transforms into a language of its own. On display until July 5. The US premiere of The Life of Chuck took place last week at the Hollywood Legion Theater in Los Angeles. Starring Tom Hiddleston, its plot follows Charles Kranz, whose life is chronicled in reverse chronological order and seems to have an impact on the world and the universe around him. And that's a wrap on our cultural roundup. I'm happy to welcome my guest Ghenwa Nemnom, a master of the Qanun and a true visionary. She's brought this ancient instrument dating back to 1600 BC into today's musical landscape, blending its rich heritage with contemporary rhythms from around the world. With millions of views on YouTube, she's performed at the Baalbek Festival, played at luxury brand events like Chanel, Dior, and Prada, and released her original tracks on global record labels, including her own Astarte. Ghenwa isn't just keeping tradition alive, she's a bridge between past and future. Ghenwa, welcome to This is Art.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Ghenwa, take us back to that first moment, the moment you first connected with the Qanun. When was it? How did it happen? And what was it about this instrument that sparked your interest?
Yes, I first started learning the Qanun at the age of 8. It was because of my father, Marun Nemnom, who's also an artist. He was the one who introduced it to me. He loved it so much. And eventually I was the one who loved it and connected a lot with it. And I finished my conservatory, then moved to the States, but it was always part of my life as a hobby.
And when did you decide to pursue it professionally?
It was when I decided to come back to Lebanon, actually, and I had worked in different fields and studied political science, human resource, and I was working with many other jobs other than music, but always searching for happiness and searching for passion. And at some point, I decided I want to make out of it a career.
How old were you then?
I was 29.
Oh, wow.
Married with a child.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's never too late to switch careers
never,
and follow your dreams.
Never, not at all.
And when was that turning point in your career? When did you actually feel like you had made it in this?
It was actually when I decided to blend the Qanun with electronic music. In 2018, I started a concept called Safar, which blends deep house music with my instrument. And then the pandemic came, and during pandemic, I was working on new music, and I was preparing for Echoes of the Temple, which was the piece I performed in Baalbek Festival. And I think this track was a breakthrough. I was working with the amazing producer Sulaiman Damian on it all throughout, post-COVID. And the track went viral, and it was a huge breakthrough.
I remember you received millions of views.
Yes.
Video.
It has now like 13 million views on YouTube.
Wow.
And everywhere I go, like, it's crazy. When I go to Europe, people ask me about it and ask me to play it.
Ghenwa, it says in your Instagram bio that you are taking the Qanun on a universal journey. You're blending this traditional sound with different genres such as African, Latin, electronic music. What made you want to take this innovative approach to music?
Yes, as I said before, I learned it in a very classical way, you know, at the conservatory where we learn, you know, only classical music. But when I traveled, I was exposed to different kinds of music and different genre. And you know, in the States, I used to listen to jazz and pop and indie. And then because I lived also in Africa, part of my life I was listening to African music, but my favorite kind of music was always deep house. It was the kind of music that I would listen to when I want to study, when I want to relax. So, and I would always come back to the Qanun and try to, you know, experiment and try out what my instrument would sound like with this kind and this genre. But I never forced it, you know. It was very natural. The genre that was blending well with the Qanun was definitely like deep house and electronic.
Ghenwa, does innovation feel like a risk when you're taking this innovative approach? Because how do you know when to actually break the rules and when to honor tradition?
Wow, I love this question. There is definitely risk that comes with innovation, but I was willing to take that risk for sure. And I knew that if I don't push boundaries, I cannot advance and I cannot bring it with me to where I want to take it. So, but there should be balance. There is no, you know, magic recipe here. I balanced both. I was very responsible. I knew such an instrument with a history holds a responsibility. And, you know, sometimes you wouldn't believe it. In the middle of a show with a full-on dance floor, I could strip down all the synthesizers and all the sounds and all the beats and play out of nowhere a melody for Kulthum, because for me, I want the audience to listen to this. And even sometimes the audience that knows nothing about Oriental music. So it's a balance of both, and I think it's beautiful to be able to, because tradition is not static. It's if you can innovate and bring it forward, it's huge.
So you believe your music actually can speak a universal language?
Absolutely. Right? Music in general speaks a universal language. For me, the Qanun doesn't only speak Arabic. It speaks many languages. When I perform in Europe, for instance, and people after my show come and ask me, what is this instrument called? Where are you from? This is the moment I know that I'm breaking boundaries, and music has no borders. And the contrary, it's a language that anyone can understand. You know, for me, the Qanun isn't just an instrument, and my show is beyond just, you know, a music show. For me, I'm carrying the sound of my region and the history of the whole Middle East all around. And this means a lot to me.
Are there any projects you're working on currently?
Yes, I'm working on a new EP, always. I'm always trying to release new music. I always try to collaborate with international producers, because this is also another way to mix and expand the sound.
You're also playing this summer at Almaza Bay, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and also in the mountains at Mons, and I have also very specific events, private events, and hidden gems in Lebanon, which is always an inspiration for me. You know, nature and being in a beautiful setup always inspires me.
The atmosphere is very important.
Definitely.
And people have to be really immersed in what you're doing.
Definitely.
Right?
This is my biggest drive. When I know that there is an audience, you know, waiting for me and excited to hear me, it's the best part of the show. And, you know, the audience always gives the artist as much as the artist gives them. So it's a very, it's a motivation for me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ghenwa.
Thank you,
It's
Lea.
such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
In Baysur, the Jamil Molaeb Museum offers an intimate journey through the life and legacy of one of Lebanon's most prolific visual artists. Housed in a warm familial setting, the museum is a labor of love, which holds his life's work, a rich collection of paintings, sculptures, and mosaics. One floor is dedicated to Lebanese pioneers, including Shafi Aboud and Paul Giragossian, a quiet tribute to the mentors who shaped Molaeb's vision. These works form part of a rare collection he personally assembled, reflecting a dialogue with Lebanon's artistic heritage. The museum also pulses with life through the Molaeb Festival for Chamber Music and Fine Arts, co-founded by his son Jamil Molaeb, an artist and musician, continuing the family's creative legacy. The festival brings together musicians from around the world, turning Baysur into a seasonal stage for cultural exchange. The Jamil Molaeb Museum is a cultural haven where past and present meet. Can an ordinary object become art just by changing how we see it? In 1917, Marcel Duchamp signed a urinal, called it Fountain, and submitted it to an art show. It was rejected. Today, a 1964 replica is displayed at Tate Modern and is widely seen as an icon of 20th century art. But he wasn't alone. See, the Dada movement began during World War I in Zurich as a reaction to the horrors of war. Dada artists rejected traditional art, creating satirical and absurd works to challenge old rules and reflect the chaos of their time. Another striking example is artist Man Ray's gift from 1921, a flat iron with nails glued all over its surface, making it unusable. By turning a familiar object into something absurd, Man Ray challenged traditional ideas of function and beauty, capturing the rebellious spirit of Dada. These artists have pushed us to rethink everything we thought art could be, because at the end of the day, real art is about opening the mind to endless possibilities. That's it for today's episode. Stay inspired. Until next time.